Hi there, my name is Melissa, and this is going to be the first video in a series of videos that will go along with the podcast, the Freedom in a Bottle podcast. So if you're ever looking for any of the materials that I put out about healthy living or how to use oils, things like that, there's always going to be you can see my logo here on the Facebook group page. So it's got like a little teal essential oil bottle with a gray bird flying out of it in freedom. Woo! I know, so philosophical and deep, right? Right. So I wanted this to just be kind of a casual little, you could call it like a fireside chat, only not as cool as FDR. But this is just a way, like my house always looks like this, super clean and perfect and whatever. But this is just going to expound upon what is covered in the podcast. So week one is just kind of the introduction. So I'll give you a little bit of my history and why I chose to even start sharing oils. I have actually been an MRI tech for the last 10 years. So I take lots of pictures of people's insides. 5 years before that, I did x-ray, and before that, I was in x-ray school, and before that, I was in high school. So my entire adult life has been dedicated to medical imaging, and just that's the only career I've ever known. That has also given me a really intimate look at our medical field, because I see people, both people who go to the doctor as an outpatient or people who come in through the emergency room because they have a really, really acute or sudden issue that they're dealing with. So one of the things that I've noticed in the healthcare field is there's a very set system. Like, you will go to a specialist because your knee is hurting, or you will go to an orthopedic surgeon for joint issues, or you'll go to a gastroenterologist or something like that if your stomach is having some problems. But I have noticed that one thing about the current medical system is this piecemeal thing where we're treating just one little symptom at a time. And one thing that started to kind of grab my attention is, what if all of these things maybe had something in common? So let's say you're dealing with some emotional issues or excess stress. What if that is tied to your gut? If you're having a hard time focusing, what if that is also tied to your diet? If you have inflammation issues, joint issues, and joint problems, what if that is just, maybe you don't have the right supplements in your diet, or maybe your body is missing a core element to repair itself. Now, if you are let's take an example of like a Major League Baseball player, like a pitcher. If you're constantly, like, he's throwing that ball over, like that was one thing, the Astros just had the World Series in 2019, and I was just watching in slow motion how their bodies had to move. It's no wonder why they end up with these terrible shoulder injuries. That makes sense to me. If you are going to wear a joint out like that over and over and over, then that kind of thing makes sense. So if you have a high impact job where you have a certain joint, that's why you'll see like a receptionist who is typing a lot, they get carpal tunnel because your body's making that same movement. Those kind of things make sense, that kind of breakdown. But what happens when your body has a problem, or it breaks down somewhere, and you don't have a repetitive job, and you were just eating normal things from the grocery store, so you thought, and you might take your over-the-counter vitamin every now and again. But what happens when your body starts to break down and there's just no known cause? We don't know why that's happening. Those were the things that started to fascinate me when I started sharing oils. Another aspect of that, and this is something that I love doing when I'm at work as well with my patients, with MRI, a lot of people are really claustrophobic or very nervous about their results, or a combination of both. And so being able to bring a spiritual element into that, where I pray with them. To me, I'm a Christian. I believe that, we all need Jesus to get to heaven. You will not have to agree with that philosophy to listen to this podcast, but I will tell you that if you do agree with that philosophy, you will probably get more out of it, because That's just a core part of who I am. I don't separate Jesus from me because Jesus is a part of me. And so I give that disclaimer. If that is something that's really going to turn you off, we can still be friends. You just may not want to listen to all of this stuff. But I hope that you will. I hope that you'll give it a shot, because you are going to start to see a lot of encouragement, some scientific articles to back up some of these more natural, holistic approaches to helping to keep your body well and functioning the way that God intended it to be. See, there's that God stuff again. But, and really that is my core belief here, is I believe that God did design us, and if we have a designer, then he knows exactly what went wrong where, and he can help. He is, I believe, already given us the tools that we need to help be healthy and help our bodies to repair themselves. And I'm going to teach you some of the things that I have been learning along the way as I've learned more things about natural health and wellness. I always say I'm a walking cliche, because 3 days a week, I work 13-hour shifts at a hospital in Western medicine, and then 4 days a week, I educate on holistic practices and health and wellness and tips and tricks to kind of be better in your body without all of the need for Western medicine intervention, hopefully. That is kind of the goal here. And I like to give this disclaimer as well. I'm not a doctor. These oils and supplements are not drugs. I'm not going to prescribe you any type of treatment, because that's not what I'm doing here. It's really more educating you on how the body works, and then allowing you to make your own decisions. I will tell you right now, Dr. Google is going to be your best friend. He does more than just tells you have cancer. So there's that. But no, really, being your own health advocate is kind of what I'm going for here. And then also putting a huge focus on the spiritual and emotional element as well. So often we will focus on the physical and kind of ignore those other two. So we'll get into all of that stuff, but that's kind of a little introduction to me and what I'm doing. I will tell you, I am a mom to two beautiful little girls, Abby and Grace. Abby's 7, Grace is 3. We call her Hurricane Grace. She lives up to that sometimes, but she's absolutely adorable. So she completely makes up for any of that crazy pants chaos she brings with how cute she is. And then I have a husband, obviously, and he is 6'9", so he always tells people he's 5'21". And so if you've met Matt, that's kind of his brand of humor, is a little bit dry, but he's very funny as well. And so, but yeah, that's us, is just we homeschool, and we just kind of fill our lives up with hopefully a lot of good stuff, and hopefully I can bring some of that good stuff to you. So thank you for joining in today, and I will see you next week.